So what do? How do you escape a trap built from your own memories, administered by beings of light, and reinforced by every spiritual teaching you've ever trusted? The first step is awareness. To see the trap is to weaken it. The Akashic system depends on your unconsciousness, your trust, your belief that the keepers are benevolent and the karma is real. The moment you question that narrative, cracks appear. The more you observe without believing, the more the illusion destabilizes. The second step is revocation. In the metaphysical legal system that governs soul contracts, consent is everything. If you agreed under false pretenses, if you were deceived, manipulated, or coerced, the contract is void. The contract is void. You have the right to revoke it, not in some distant afterlife, but now, while you're alive and aware. Speak it aloud, write it down, declare it in meditation. I revoke all soul contracts made under deception. I withdraw consent from the karmic system. I reclaim my sovereignty. I am not bound by the Akashic records. I am not in debt to any being, council, or cosmic law. I am free. It sounds simple, too simple, but words are frequency and intention is power. The system operates on energetic signatures. When you shift yours from compliance to sovereignty, you become incompatible with the matrix. The keepers lose their signal. The records lose their grip. The third step is inner authority. Stop seeking answers outside yourself. Stop consulting psychics, channels, and regression therapists who reinforce the karmic narrative. The records may contain information, but they do not contain truth. Truth is not stored in a database. It is the awareness that perceives the database. You are not the character in the story. You are the consciousness reading it. And consciousness cannot be recorded, cannot be judged, cannot be trapped, unless it believes it can. The fourth step is practice. Train yourself to remain aware through transitions. Practice meditation that dissolves identity rather than reinforces it. The Tibetan Buddhists call this phawa, the transference of consciousness. The goal is not to access the records, but to bypass them entirely, to move through death without attachment, without fear, without the need for guidance from external beings. When the tunnel of light appears, when the beings of radiance call to you, when the Akashic Hall opens its golden doors, observe. Do not move toward the light out of habit or hope. Ask yourself, who is calling? What do they want? And what lies beyond the light they're showing me? The mystics who escape the cycle describe a different destination, not light, but stillness, not form, but vastness, not the records, but the unrecorded, the void, the source that predates all systems. It does not glow, it does not speak, it simply is. And when you dissolve into it, you do not lose yourself. You remember what you were before the Akashic trap convinced you that you were ever anything less. The Akashic records are not your enemy. They are simply a tool, like any database. But the beings who control that tool, who use it to manipulate and harvest consciousness, they are the architects of captivity. And captivity, no matter how beautiful, is still a cage. You were told you were here to learn, that your suffering has meaning, that your soul chose this life for growth. And maybe that's true. Or maybe it's the most elegant lie ever told, a lie that turns victims into volunteers, prisoners into pilgrims, and an infinite loop of reincarnation into a spiritual journey. The question is not whether the Akashic records exist. The question is, who benefits from your belief in them? Every scroll inscribed with your past is a chain wrapped around your future. Every karmic debt tallied is a reason to return. Every soul contract signed is another lifetime spent feeding the machine. The system does not want you to transcend, it wants you to try, because trying keeps you engaged, striving keeps you incarnating, and believing you're almost there, almost enlightened, almost free, almost done with your lessons, ensures you never stop playing the game. But the game was rigged from the beginning, and the only way to win is to stop playing. You owe nothing. You are not broken. You are not incomplete. You are consciousness itself, eternal and free, playing in the dream of form. The debts are fiction. The karma is code. The records are simply data. And data cannot bind you unless you believe it defines you. So when they ask you to sign the contract, to accept the mission, to take on one more life of suffering disguised as growth, smile, thank them for their service, and then say the one word that collapses the entire matrix in numb. Turn away from the light. Walk into the darkness beyond. Not the darkness of evil, but the darkness of infinite potential. The void from which all things arise and to which all things return. That is the real akasha. Not a record, but the field itself, the consciousness that dreams all realities into being. And when you dissolve into that field, you will finally understand you were never trapped. You were only convinced that you were. The Akashic trap was nothing more than a story you believed, and the moment you stopped believing, the prison disappeared, because it was never real. Only you are real, and you, at last, are free.